Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be going over the different types of stop loss orders, and I found this out on a video not too long ago, and I thought it was really interesting because people often set a stop loss order and they just forget about it. They think there's one type of stop loss order and that is just one being set. But that's not true. This is very extensive and you need to understand and be able to prepare for different types of situations. So, here we go. Obviously, now the reasoning why you should listen, well, to grow this tree of wealth, of profitability, this is how it starts. So if your fruit are profitability, well, it's going to be based on the roots, which is risk management. Then your trading system is very important, but it's not as important as your risk management. And then your trading psychology, which is least important, but is still very important and crucial to your profitability. So risk management really is the roots here. And mastering the placement of stop losses really separates profitable traders from people who aren't profitable. Now, obviously, some social proof. So let's get into it. First, we have a technical stop. And what a technical stop is this is just based on price action. Obviously, you have a swing low, what you think is a protected low on a swing. And this is good. It creates a logical cushion for protecting price, and it minimizes the chances of being stopped out, and it keeps your potential loss small. Next, you have a money stop. And this is based on the fixed dollar amount that you would want to lose. So let's say, for example, you only can risk $480. This means that your stop is based on that $480. And this is generally a bad idea because the market does not care about the amount of money that you are willing to lose or your desired risk. Your stop needs to be based on what the market is doing, not what you want the market to do. So you see, obviously, this trade stops out because it's not based on time and price. It's based on your willingness and your risk, which don't actually matter. Next, we have a discretionary stop. So a discretionary stop is a voluntary stop where the trader decides in your head. I think a lot of people here do this. You decide when to get out and you don't actually place a hard order. So you tell yourself, if this is the range that we're trading in, then if this low gets taken out, my idea is not valid. Therefore, this range right here is my internal exit range. And this is a very stupid idea because you are influenced by the emotion of the moment. So let's say price is going down, but there could be something there that you think price maybe will actually come right back up in a couple of minutes. So you stay in the trade. Price is going to continue going lower and you blow margin call your account. So obviously, do not do these discretionary stops unless you are very disciplined and obviously consistent. Next, we have a time-based stop. And sorry, some of these diagrams are a little bad, but this is a stop where, let's say you enter a trade. This is a stop triggered after a trade has been open for a time that you allotted. So let's say you need price to move before market close. Well, if it doesn't move by market close, obviously you'll get out. Now, time limits are arbitrary, so it makes this not a good idea because there are so many situations where a trade seems like it shouldn't work, but eventually at that last moment, at that time, it really is not supposed to. It does work out, and obviously, as you can see here, if you would have exited right here at 11:30, you would have been in the L, and then it would have expanded. And sometimes that's the thing, is you do not account for what it does at certain times. You just account for when are you in the trade. Next, we have a volatility stop, and this is just pretty much that as you enter a trade, if the overall average true range is pretty high or is gradually rising, then you are going to increase your stop to allow for price that may be more choppy and may have more pullbacks. So this does make sense because it's based on active and real information that the market is providing you. So there's no emotion. There's no emotions. You're not basing it on any emotions. And if you want the formula, it's just entry plus or minus ATR times the multiple. Now we have a combined stop, and this is when it is a stop placed in a location that technically makes sense. So that initial price stop of what technically makes sense, but also in terms of the volatility. So you're accounting for the average true range while you're also accounting for the price action. So you're taking both technical data and quantitative data, and you're combining them. And this is very logical because it offers a double layer of protection. You're using two confluences that prevents you from being stopped out. Remember, this just increases your probability of this idea being correct. So the more confluences you can add here, the better it will be. So if you have a technical stop with ATR that makes sense, and you have also a money stop, then you're slowly adding these things. Obviously, now we have the liquidity pool, liquidity stop. Said that with a Jewish accent, liquidity stop. So now we have the liquidity stop, and this is a stop loss that's placed in a location that makes sense, that makes technical. So now we have the liquidity stop, which is a stop loss that is placed where it makes sense liquidity-wise, keeping potential losses small, and it just sort of acts like a structural cushion for protection. So we put our stop loss here. We put our stop losses in a place that makes sense. Obviously, right here, actually, this is incorrect. So I meant to flip this around. So the liquidity pool, obviously, because you can see up here is a liquidity pool. So there's not much liquidity down here, so you don't think price is going to retrace here because it's not going to fill much of the opposing orders. So it's going to go to opposing orders. And this is good. It minimizes your chances of getting stopped out. And then obviously we have a break-even stop. This is pretty intuitive. This is just moving your stop loss to the exact entry level once your trade started to move. And obviously the pro is you mitigate your risk. So you're making money, you're confirming money. Obviously, this can be bad because if you move before the market has confirmed the reversal with those deep pullbacks, you can get stopped out and ultimately turn many profitable trades into these unprofitable and break-even trades. Then we obviously have a trailing stop. Everybody knows that. That's a stop loss that's progressively moved into some profitable territory based usually on technicals. We're not going to be basing this on anything else. Effectively, you just lock in the profits on a good trade, which is good, but also if it's not placed dynamically behind market structure, so in bullish order flow on swing lows, then you run the risk of being stopped out and mitigating the amount of money that you could have made. So just understand that the stop loss, this is your tool to ensure that you keep your money safe. Understand that it's super easy to make money in the markets, but it's not as easy to keep the money, and stop losses ensure that you keep your money. Risk within trading will never be eliminated, right? It can only be managed or transformed into something else. And when you use these logical stops, logical targets, and you're prepared, you know all the different types, you establish this consistency of behavior and discipline and mind, and that is definitely going to be the way that you're going to turn profitable in this market. So just lock in, boys. Remember that risk management is the first filter that will force your success. So thank you. And